Welcome back, fight fans. In today's video, Islam Machachev confirms he did have a staph infection going into his title fight at UFC 302.
Staph infection.
Khabib meets with former President Donald Trump, and Coach Javier Mendez reveals what they spoke about.
Yeah, I saw the Khabib meeting Donald Trump, and the only thing I go is I can go on Instagram, and actually Khabib told me that he met him.
Dana White teases what's next for the BMF title and Max Holloway, and Paulo Costa says he's had enough.
But I'll tell you something, I agree with Dana and Joe Rogan. And I will do that. I will bring back that Paulo to take heads off, to finish the fight. I'm not that kind of content.
Stay tuned because there's plenty more in today's video, so don't be scared, homie. Knock out the like button and subscribe to the channel. And in the words of Big John McCarthy, let's get it all! Islam Makhachev's coach Javier Mendez opens up on UFC 302 staph infection rumors, plus Conor McGregor ranting about their infested team. In the build-up to UFC 302 at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, MMA fans became concerned that lightweight champion Islam Makhachev was suffering from a nasty-looking staph infection. And it turns out that the internet sleuths, including a notorious detective, were right. Speaking to UFC Eurasia after his 5th-round submission victory over Dustin Poirier, UFC lightweight champion Islam Makhachev confirmed that the rumors surrounding a potential staph infection were correct. Islam said, quote, "Yes, I had some health issues. I had a staph infection. It was bothering me a bit for a week or so when we arrived here in the US. It did distract me a little, so I didn't train. I had some rest to make sure it wouldn't get worse. I saw the doctors, but I don't think it really affected me. After coming such a long way, we didn't even think about pulling out unless the doctors would force me out," explained Makhachev. Speaking via Red Corner MMA's YouTube channel, Coach Javier Mendez confirmed that the staph infection had been troubling Makhachev for almost 4 weeks, not just for fight week as the champion previously suggested.
Well, when I got to camp almost a month ago, Islam was not necessarily 100% training because he had this big old a nasty staph infection.
What's it like when the media start noticing these things, are zooming in on pictures and because obviously we don't get to see the true reaction until after the fight, so what's that like?
Well, it's kind of funny how little simple things people notice, change things. Like Conor goes and starts on a rant, starting to create drama, with Islam, which is kind of good because Conor's the kind of guy you want to root against or root for regardless. Everybody wants to see him. I want to see him get beat by Islam. So for me, him doing what he's doing is causing a lot of attention. So, there wouldn't be nothing better for me and Khabib than to have Islam. I have a fight with him somewhere down the line. He brought that staff up, which was very observant on his part, to be honest with you, very observant on his part. The only thing is that, he observed it way too late. It was like at the time he mentioned that it was already 3 weeks past.
After his 5th-round stoppage of Dustin Poirier at the Prudential Center in New Jersey, lightweight champion Islam Makhachev again teased that a move up to welterweight isn't a matter of if, but when. Yet the lightweight champion has been told to skip the 170-pound division and move straight to middleweight as the friendship aspect gets thrown into the works. Even before his 5th-round submission victory over Dustin Poirier this weekend at UFC 302, lightweight champion Islam Makhachev was vocal about his desire to eventually move up a weight class to challenge for a 2nd world title, saying, quote, "Second belt. I don't see some job left in my division. I've beat all of them, and for me, it's not making sense to rematch with Sarukian or something like this. I want a new challenge, a new belt. The welterweight belt is the thing that makes me wake up early in the morning and train every day. This is my dream." While Makhachev has been vocal about potentially fighting Leon Edwards, there is a possibility that the dominant lightweight champion could shelf his champ aspirations if his friend and teammate Belal Muhammad shocks the world and becomes UFC welterweight king in July. Speaking to MMA Fighting prior to UFC 302, Muhammad said that should he defeat Edwards and capture UFC gold, he would refuse to accept any offer against Makhachev and instead suggested he move up to middleweight.
I know for the longest time Islam had talked about being a 2-division champ, and I think unfortunately kind of missed his break because he obviously, I think the Leon fight would have been his path, but I assume you guys would never actually fight. So I think that's kind of like now you guys, you rule welterweight, he can stick around a lightweight, and then maybe down the road, because obviously, Islam's an incredible fight. I'm sure you're confident he's going to beat Dustin Poirier, but I know he's talked about being a 2-division champ, but now you guys are part of the same family.
Yeah, I would never fight him 100%, but honestly, he could go up to 185 and beat Duplessis right now. I think he's that good, really. I think he could go up there and be that 2-division champ, skip over 170 for a little bit. Let me beat a couple of these younger guys, and then I'll go up to 185, bro. He has plenty of time, man. He's dominating these fights. He's winning easily, and I think he's going to continue on that path of just being a dominant champion. So he's got plenty of years left. Like he tweeted out or said something about it recently in an interview, saying like, "Yeah, I'm still hungry. I'm still here." So I think he got a long time to go.
In an interview with Brett Okamoto via ESPN MMA YouTube channel, Machachev hinted that the door is open to fighting Muhammad despite their close friendship, as the two share the same manager, Ali Abdelaziz.
Your manager Ali is sitting here, so like we can ask him if it comes up. But I saw some headlines that it says, "Oh, if Bilal Muhammad wins the welterweight championship, then we don't know what Islam is going to do." Like, I think you'll fight Bilal. That's just my opinion on it. I never heard you say that you wouldn't fight Bilal. You said that we have the same manager and we'd have to think of something. Like,
no, I don't want to jump and say something, but I have team, he have team, same manager, easy to talk, and we will make some decision. My goal to be double champ, It's my dream.
Do you think, what are the chances of, like this year? Do you see it happening this year or like within a year? Or when do you see it happening?
Anything can happen. Anything can happen. We see this many, many times. And end of the year, I will be ready.
Daniel Cormier, Joe Rogan, and John Anik discuss what's next for Islam Machachev. He has plenty of options both at lightweight and at welterweight.
And, I know he's talking about 170, but Arman Tsarukyan is waiting in the wings. I mean, that guy, from the first time they fought, was a very close decision win. I mean, that guy has wanted his title shot for a long time, and he is absolutely outstanding.
And that was Arman Tsarukyan's short notice UFC debut in 2019 in Russia. So the foundation certainly is laid for that fight. Leon Edwards and Bilal Muhammad have a date July 27th, but a lot of people believe that Islam Makhachev, if he fought the welterweight champion, whomever that may be, might be the betting favorite on that night.
He might be the favorite, but after tonight, watching Dustin Poirier defend as effectively as he did at times, with the way Leon Edwards defended against Kamaru Usman, if he's still the champ, you go, man, that's going to be interesting because you ain't striking with Leon Edwards.
Yeah. That's
you know what I'm saying?
Thing, man. Leon
and then
Edwards
Bilal Muhammad, who can defend takedowns.
Yeah. And
Arman Tsarukyan is going to present a hell of a challenge. Look, Islam has a lot of great options right now. He's in a great position. He should be happy.
Coach Javier Mendez confirms what Khabib and former President Donald Trump spoke about at UFC 302.
Khabib met Donald Trump. Do you know what they spoke about? It looked like a very interesting meeting.
Yeah, I saw the Khabib meeting Donald Trump, and the only thing I go is I can go on Instagram, and actually Khabib told me that he met him, and he asked, hey, is there anything you can do with the Palestine war to stop the war? War is not good for humanity. Humanity, we all need to love each other and take care of each other. For me, it's not about this or that. It's about humanity, and we all need to be compassionate to our fellow men and women and children, especially children. So for me, I'm not against anybody. I'm just against hurt humanity. I'm against that.
Definitely, me too. Did Donald Trump have a good response for that?
Donald Trump had the best response of the whole arena. The whole place went crazy for Donald Trump, and I'm crossing my fingers that he can get back on board because he's a businessman. He's a businessman first. He's not about, he is for humanity. Donald Trump is the right man for the job for the USA and the world.
Dana White confirms talks have started on the next BMF title fight. Speaking at the UFC 302 post-fight press conference, Dana White confirmed that following his dramatic capturing of the silver-plated strap at UFC 300, the promotion is now starting to figure out the next fight for Max Holloway and the BMF title lineage.
And last question, from a businessman point of view, what do you think on the whole ADCC and Craig Jones invitational situation going on? Do you think it's a smart business move?
I don't know anything about it.
That he booked the submission tournament the same day as ADCC and made like a lot of different prices in terms of money for the submission fighters.
Huh. Sounds good to me.
Dana, just go more. What you said about the BMF, that's in the works. Ilya Topuria said he wouldn't fight Max Holloway unless the BMF title was on the line. Is that something that rubs you the wrong way, or is something?
No, it doesn't rub me at all. I love that people love that belt and want to fight for it. I love it.
What's the status of that? Are you guys working towards it?
Yeah, we're working on a lot of stuff right now. Obviously, we got, we got the Sphere coming up. We got Madison Square Garden. We got a a lot of big fights coming up around that time, so we'll get it figured out.
Aside from the highly anticipated clash against El Matador, there are likely only a few routes that Bless could take regarding his next potential BMF opponents. A rematch against Conor McGregor should he defeat Michael Chandler later this month, or, and on a speculative side, a rematch with Dustin Poirier. Interestingly enough, Poirier was asked about the possibility of facing Holloway for the BMF title at the UFC 302 post-fight press conference following his stoppage loss to Machachev.
Dana White was in here talking about they have a BMF in the works. You fought the winner twice, 2-0 on him. Is that something that spices your life up?
I don't know, man. I don't know. We got to see. Max is a tough dude, man. I'm a big fan. Got a lot of respect for him as well. He's a good dude.
After struggling through a split decision loss against Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa has vowed to make a change. The beloved Brazilian flopped to his 4th loss in 5 fights on Saturday as he struggled to entertain fans in the UFC 302 co-main event. Neither middleweight threw much offense as they were booed throughout a tentative 5-round affair that ended in a controversial split decision. There wasn't much doubt in the eyes of experts and fans that Strickland had won relatively comfortably, with one judge even scoring it 50-45, but one of his colleagues drew the ire of many as he scored the bout in favor of Costa. In the aftermath of his performance, the once exciting Costa promised fans that he would be heading back to his original fight style. During his run to facing Israel Adesanya for the middleweight belt in 2020, he was known for a breakneck pace and winning 4 of his first 5 fights via knockout. But after he was knocked out by Adesanya and humiliated during a post-fight moment in the cage, it appears that his style has changed up. He's lost 3 of his last 4 fights, and none of them were massive fan-friendly showings. However, that may all be about to change, as he's told fans in a lengthy, now-deleted social media video.
I just came to say a few words. Yeah, not shown one. I did perform very well. I think he didn't either, but at least he did it enough to win, right? This is 2 losses in a row in 3 fights. 3 former champs, Luke Hold, Whitaker, and Champ. I won 1 and lost 2. But I will tell something. I agree with Dana and Joe Rogan, and I will do that. I will bring back that Paulo to take heads off to finish the fight. I'm not the kind of counter. Sorry, I'm not the kind of counter guy. I do better move forward and try to finish and look for heads. Sean is so awkward, so different kind of fighter to fight against. It's difficult. He was keeping me, pushing me, keep pushing me, keep me far from him. Because he knows the power that I have. And I have the power, so I need to deliver that. And I will do that. I won't give a fuck for points or conserve energy or focus anything about that. I will come to take heads off. And this is who I am. This is a kind of fight that I am, and the fighter that people expect that I perform. So I will do that. Fuck points. I'm enough of this. Even the first round that I was 100% sure that I won, some people thought I lost. Fuck them. I will come to take heads off. That's it.
UFC boss Dana White doesn't seem too concerned about Conor McGregor's partying videos ahead of his octagon comeback. The Irishman has been enjoying life during his training camp for UFC 303, where he will face Michael Chandler on June 29th. He's posted a number of videos showing himself partying into the early hours of the morning at his Dublin hotspot, the Black Forge Inn. Fans have expressed their doubts about how well McGregor could be preparing if he's making time every week to enjoy a late-night session. But White isn't worried, noting that pound-for-pound great John Jones used to do similar before some of his peak performances. Dana was asked about McGregor's behavior during the post-fight press conference for UFC 302 and seemed unfazed by the footage. He even questioned if it were real, noting that the Irishman's different looks in different videos.
Well, a big fight coming up is the next pay-per-view, Conor McGregor's return, of course. Great promo tonight, but we've seen in the past few days there's been some footage coming out of him having some fun in the clubs and stuff. Does any of that concern you, 4 or 5 weeks out from the fight?
Well, again, you and I, here we are. We were talking about John Jones. John Jones was doing a lot of that stuff too back in the day, and many other fighters throughout history. I don't know what's real on the internet and what's not real on the internet. I don't know timing-wise, and one of them he's got a beard, and one of them he doesn't have a beard, and I have no idea. I don't know if any of that's real or true or whatever, but You know, Conor's not a dumb guy, and you know, this is obviously a big fight for him. He's calling it the best comeback in the history of sports and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens. I'll actually be with him tomorrow, so I'm flying there right now.
Conor McGregor's manager is still adamant that a trilogy fight against Nate Diaz will happen and is hoping that it can take place at the Sphere in Las Vegas later this year.
What is you trying to do?
No, so we have Chandler in a month, and then he said that he wanted to fight maybe 2 or 3 more times this year. McGregor did. Were there, you know, why? Because when at UFC 299, when at the post fight, when we were talking to Dana White about it, he shot down Nate Diaz at the Sphere so hard. Do you think that's more of a Nate thing than it is a Conor thing?
Yes, certainly. I mean, Nate's not part of the promotion anymore, right? So I don't think it has anything to do with Conor. I think if Nate was still on the roster, then that is certainly a great matchup to do on Mexican Independence Weekend at the Sphere. I mean, it'd be massive, right? But I think it's more of a Nate thing, yeah.
Could we see him fight on the Sphere anyway? I don't know what the problem is. I don't know any Mexican fighters that could potentially fight at the Sphere. I would throw a name at Jorge Masvidal. I think he has a good fan base over there, but I don't think he's Mexican.
Listen, you can't rule out Nate. I mean, it's about Nate getting a deal done with the UFC. But, you know, that fight will happen. I hope it happens at the Sphere this September.
Right.
But it's going to happen. You know, I think the fans want to see that, you know, that trilogy, right? And so ultimately it's just about when, where, how. I think that those are the things that you have to work through to make that become a reality, right?
Yep. Conor's the slight betting favorite against Chandler. He'll definitely be the betting favorite if he fights Nate. Say he goes 2-0, imaginary world. Islam?
Ultimately, I think, you know, you certainly are going to see a very ambitious and competitive Conor that wants to compete at the highest levels. He's not just doing this just to take fights because he needs money, which everybody knows is not the case, right? And so at the end of the day, I think it's just about him going out and focusing on one fight at a time, right? And he has to focus on Michael Chandler, singular focus, make sure he goes out there and does what he needs to do, and then you can focus on what's next.
Now let's take a look at the top 3 comments left on yesterday's videos. At Jojo says, John is beating his wife like it's nothing. This viewer says, Dana is 100% correct when talking about who is the pound for pound king. And perhaps the best username, Audible Fart, says, if I had Conor money, I would have 0 time to talk to anyone. I'd be out doing what I love every single day. If you want your comments highlighted on tomorrow's video, simply comment down below. We'll highlight the top best comments, good, bad, or indifferent, and feature them in tomorrow's video. And that does it for today's video, but make sure you're liking this video, subscribing to this channel, and clicking the bell notification so you can get notified every time we drop a new video. And in case you missed it, check out yesterday's news.